Welcome everybody to part 2 of our Cowan's Gap series. We're here on the dam of the lake here at Cowan's Gap. If you missed out on part 1, go check it out. We went over to Meadow Grounds Lake and saw Jarrett Falls, and we also went to Buchanan's Birthplace State Park, which is a very interesting and historical place.
Well, today I guess we're walking the lakeside trail while we're waiting for Sarah to get here. And then when she gets here with Ryan's parents, we're going to take the kayaks out on the lake. We'll see how William does in the kayak.
Yeah, this will be old Willie's first time in a kayak, so we're excited about that. It's our first time out on the boats this year, so as you can see the lake behind us. It's not very big, but it should be fun. That's what we're going to do, and then tomorrow we're going to do some of the Standing Stone Trail, and we'll show you some pretty cool overlooks and vistas while we're up there. So we'll get into the intro and we'll see you out on the lake. So friends, as you probably know, when we're at places for longer than our typical 3-night stay, we have the portable gray water waste tank that allows us to get like 21 gallons out of our gray tank, which is plenty more for an extra night or two. But what you probably don't know is how we get water into the rig to supplement that, because our fresh water will run out. So, like many things in the world that don't make sense, we've got this jug here and it says water storage only, but it also says that it's extremely flammable and, you know, keep away from open flames, and it's got pictures of flame on it, which is crazy. But clearly this is a company who also makes these same jugs for gasoline, and so they're subject to the EPA's ridiculous rules when it comes to gas cans, which basically make gas cans that don't work. The spout that's got the vent inside it. So what it amounts to is I'm stuck standing there holding, 50 pounds of water while it's burping. Because the way that this works, it will let some out, and then it'll totally stop the flow, and then it'll burp, and then it'll let some more water out. And so, what I've done is I drilled a hole in it, because this is 6 gallons, so to replace 21 gallons of water in my fresh tank, I've got to go 3 or 4 times back and forth to the spigot. This little hole in it really speeds up the process. So we are out on the lake here at Cowan's Gap. This will be our first boating adventure of the year. Rachel and my parents are up ahead. And I don't know if you can see or not, but over at the beach area, man, it is packed. And there's quite a few people out on the lake here as well. If you guys remember last year when we were over at Shawnee State Park, 4th of July weekend, talked a lot about how it really wasn't that crowded. And, the fact that it was crowded wasn't really bothersome. Here, I'll tell you what, we wanted to go on the beach later today. And looking at that over there, I don't think that's happening. We'll see, we'll let you know. And we're also going to let you know what else we see while we're out on the boats here. I got to get to paddling or I'm going to run ashore. Friends, over at the beach area, we walked through there earlier. This was around 9:30 after we were down at the dam. And you should see some of the setups that people got over there, like grills and big coolers and hammocks everywhere. I mean, it definitely looks like these people know how to have a good time, that's for sure.
Yeah, we did.
Can I paddle now?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Yes?
What's Willie think?
He's not a fan, but I think he's claustrophobic in this thing.
Willie's got his fishing hat on. So the setting here is actually quite nice. But tomorrow morning, what I'm hoping to do, and this should be scenic and hopefully less crowded because it is difficult. I don't know if you can see the ridge behind me, but we're going to take the Standing Stone Trail up there, and there's a couple of overlooks that should be worth seeing, and hopefully they overlook the lake, and it should be pretty cool. But yeah, just right along there, and then it'll bring us down by the dam where we were earlier this morning. So right now though, we're going to take the kids over to the playground, and then we're going to start cooking dinner, so we'll be with you hopefully through some of that. The mountain?
Oh my gosh.
So here at Cowan's Gap, and this is, in my opinion, the best part about Cowan's Gap. It is the trailhead for the Standing Stone Trail, which is what we're doing now. We're going to do a section of it up to some overlooks, but it's also trailhead for the Tuscarora Trail, which, if you remember last year when we were at Colonel Denning, we did a portion of that. And so the Tuscarora Trail, I think it's like 30 some miles, goes from here to Colonel Denning, and goes right through the Flat Rock Overlook, which we took you to last year. The Standing Stone Trail goes north, I believe, towards like Mount Union, PA, and the 1,000 Steps portion, which is something I really want to get on and do for you guys. But we're just doing a short section here. So it looks like we're at the bottom of the landslide. The sign said there was like 40 inches of snow on the mountain, and then it warmed up rapidly, and just the amount of water from the snow melt softened the ground and pushed it all down the hill. I mean, it's actually kind of hard to tell. Back there though, you could, where the sign was. I think here we must have been just on the edge of it. Just back there, the first thing we came across on the trail of interest is a CCC era incinerator. I'm not totally certain of the history of the area or the purpose of that. I'm sure it was for a little bit of waste disposal, and it could have other purposes as well. If anyone knows anything, let me know in the comments, and that way that'll be helpful. But it is a very cool structure. Anytime something from 100 years ago is still there today, it's interesting. We are almost up to the overlook, so we're getting there. So on the sign down there, the landslide sign, this up here, this general vicinity is where it kind of started. And it talks about how the bedrock is at a 45-degree slope. And you can tell the tree right there, you know, if that's 90, that's 45, so it should give you a good idea of how steep this is. And I think it's sandstone based on the amount of sand and grit that's in the path here. I could be wrong about that, but either way, everything just sheeted off the bedrock and ended up down the mountain. And it said that it crossed this road twice, so once would have been up here, probably a good ways back, and then down at the bottom where the sign was the bottom of the landslide where it crossed the road a second time. This is, obviously it's a pretty steep trail. We're coming up the mountain, and I showed you yesterday on the kayaks, we're going to cross the ridge. There's not a lot of shade up here, which, I don't know, maybe it's just the time of day, sun angle type of thing. The sun's like directly above us. So it's hot, it's humid, but it's July, and we didn't quite get as early of a start as I would have liked, but that's just the way it goes. But I think we're almost to the top. You can probably not see it through the trees, but you can, every once in a while, you get a glimpse of the view that we're about to get. And so it looks like it's going to be spectacular. I see something that looks like it might be the overlook right ahead, so we might be just there now. Now here on what is just the Standing Stone Trail. So where Knobsville Road branches off, we're taking the Standing Stone Trail, which is definitely more my type of thing. A lot less open, a lot more shade. We're taking the Standing Stone over to the Horseshoe Trail, which will take us back down to the dam at Cowan's Gap. Friends, as I think you can see behind me, we are at the peak of the ridge. And so this is where the Appalachian Mountains would have originally went way, way up. And the valleys, the current valleys, are actually where the peaks used to be. And that eroded first. And so the peaks of the mountains now are where the valleys used to be. So it would have went down. This is where the mountain, like the Earth's crust just came straight out of the ground, and it would have went, you know, way, way higher, like the Rocky Mountains. And this tree here, I mean, it looks like it's just grown out of a rock. And that's pretty incredible. And it looks like it's been here a while too, so it's pretty cool. I like this. Friends, that was a fun little jaunt there on the Standing Stone Trail. It was pretty fun. I like being on the ridge like that, being able to see stuff on both sides. It was really cool. But now we're taking the horseshoe trail, which does not look very highly traversed, but this should take us right down to the breast of the dam at Cowan's Gap, and then we're gonna head back to the camper and grab something to eat and pack up. And this one does say on the map that it is an extremely steep trail, and it's, according to the map, for experienced hikers only. I don't know that holds completely true. Maybe going up it would suck, but we're just going down, so it shouldn't be a big deal. Did you find a resting rock?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did.
As you know, Rachel and I do an incredible amount of hiking, and probably even more than what you see on camera on YouTube. And so, when I look at a trail map and I see stuff like extremely difficult hiking or steep hiking or whatever, you know, if you look at a map, those words are on just about every trail, probably just to keep people who have never hiked before, or, you know, just as a general warning of caution to people who don't do this regularly, that they shouldn't hike the trail. And so when I looked at this map and I seen the horseshoe trail and it said very steep, experienced hikers only, you know, I took that with a grain of salt, because we've been on all kinds of trails. Alright friends, before the camera cut me off, I was telling you about the horseshoe trail, and the general consensus is there's no good reason whatsoever to do the horseshoe trail. It's extremely steep, it's extremely washed out, there's no benefit to it whatsoever. There's nothing to see, and there's just no reason to do it. So I would suggest you stay off of it. On the map it says for experienced hikers only, but
It says very steep, and it means it.
Very steep, next to impossible. And like, I feel like we are experienced hikers. We do this an awful lot. It's just, there's no good reason to do it, so I would suggest you don't do it.
Cowan's Gap. It's a nice little state park, but I don't need to go back. I didn't like the camp. It's certainly not my favorite campground. I didn't hate it.
I think it's worth trying everything once. If there was something really spectacular there that drew us back, you know, it was nice enough campground, but nothing spectacular. And the lake was kind of small. And of course it was very crowded when we were there. 4th of July weekend, maybe. If that's somewhere you're looking to go, I would suggest not going there on a holiday. But the Standing Stone Trail was nice, and I would like to do some sections of the Tuscarora in that area, and even more of the Standing Stone. But no real major drawbacks to the campground itself, though.
There's no playground in the campground, which is, maybe we're spoiled, but that's something I've really come to value having kids, is having the playground, or having a playground at the campground.
Yeah, there is a playground at Cowan's Gap, but you have to walk a significant distance. It's not like the kids could just go there without us supervising and taking them over. And I think in general, though, we are very, very spoiled when it comes to campgrounds and adventures, and because we've got to see some pretty spectacular and amazing things. So your everyday run-of-the-mill campgrounds don't really impress us. Now, the hike we did at Jarrett Falls, that did impress me. But, you know, that's almost midway between home and Cowan's Gap. So, you know, we could do that again as a day trip from here, easy enough. But that's all we've got, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, in 2 weeks we'll be headed to Promised Land State Park. Doing a lot of fun stuff out there. Delaware Water Gap for one. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell notification so you don't miss that. And we'll see you then, Thursday, 5 o'clock.